Sapiens. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. A brief history of humankind by Yavel Noah Hara. We bum 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 some print. Alright, so part 3. The unification of humankind. Firstly, this unification is one of the awesome historic events of all time. Now, these are one of the best because of a few reasons. 1, because of the arrow of history. 2, a sense of money. And 3, Imperial Visions. 4, the law of religion. And 5, the secret of success. And we'll be all talking about these clearly in the next few minutes. Now, firstly, let's talk about the arrow of history. Now, the arrow of history is one of the best types of topics I love to talk about. After the agricultural revolution, societies grew larger and larger and larger and larger into empires. And these eventually artificial insults happened, called cultures happened. And these cultures are pretty much what came to the basis of human history. Now, culture is one of those things that sort of sell us to say something like even, clocks, 30 minutes, languages, and those things, kill people, sacrifices, killing people is good, being is good, is good, and yeah, I just said all those things because I was going to say something that is not appropriate. Now, the brief history of humankind is one of the best types of books that kind of explain this. And now that we talked about the arrow of history, a brief version of the arrow of history, we have to talk about the sense of money. Now, what is money and why is it valuable? According to a few people, a US dollar is a piece of paper that was printed by the government and is safeguarded as official US currency. But that's just what makes it legal, not what makes it so valuable. What makes it valuable, at least if it was gold, it would be the literal value of it. The value would come in handy when it's in short supply, though. When it's scarcer, it makes it more rich, makes it more valuable, so we will want it more. And yeah, and the more you have it, the more you really want to have it. As more of it comes, it sort of seems to happen that the amount of money will get lower and lower, but the less it comes, it would be more and more valuable, which makes a lot of people want to have it more. Now, gold is a special type of currency that is very important, and it is said that this is really important. The Aztecs were like, what's the use of gold? It's not valuable at all. Turns out it is. It's just that they didn't know that it was very rare. And so, yeah. The Aztecs will eventually understand, but it turns out there is not much of it. Some of us have been learning their history for a long time, and there are different types of money. Long ago, it was said that emeralds were money. Other times were just like cowrie shells. Other times were like cow udders. I'm kidding, the word. Some were like alcohol. You can literally drink your paycheck. Some were like things that are easily smashable. So don't shatter it. You can play with them, but you can't shatter them. Yeah. Turns out there's not much of that in the world now. It's basically just green pieces of paper. Let's talk about Imperial Visions now. And also, plus the side of it is that the sense of money, whatever money is, whatever is valuable to you, even cigarette butts were used as money. Okay, moving on. The Imperial Visions. I don't mean like visions like, ooh, laser eyes, pew, pew, pew. I don't mean things like that. Even though that would be really cool. Pew, 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 pew. Not like laser eyes or something like that. It's more of the Imperial Visions of the people, like Louis the 18th or someone like that. Those people with imperial visions certainly got themselves into a lot of trouble. Shah Jahan is one good example of this. And he was just created the Taj Mahal, and when someone looked at the Taj Mahal, he'd be like, let's cut their eyes out and cut their eyes out and cut their tongues and cut their ears. Okay, not their ears. Anyway. And so yeah, they just cut their eyes so that they would not see anything more beautiful than the Taj Mahal, which unless they actually did. And so they cut their tongue so that they cannot describe it to anyone. So it'd be like this. If I was like that, and I still made videos, I'd be like this. So yeah, it was sort of like that. Gouge eyes out. So yeah, it's one of the worst visions ever. Some visions are pretty good. Sort of. Moscow was created by Imperial Vision 2. And Imperial literally means, in this case, royalty. So we'll just add that to the list. Now, let's talk about the laws of religion. Now, the laws of religion isn't like that person from like there with the woman with the balance on one side and a sword on the other. And the sword on the other is not like this sort of that woman. Instead, well, it's more like something. The laws of religion is not like one sort of god that has the authority to do something, kill someone, make this guy evil, make this guy closeless, and yeah. Turns out there are some things that don't need to happen. God is not the creator of the law of religion. Turns out there is no religion. There is no God. And how religion still stays intact is just the belief of the religion that it is still there. That's what makes religion still alive. There are many religions to choose from, by the way. Oh, ad time. Welcome to ads. Today we'll be talking about the ads of religions. Now you can choose Christianity, Protestant, or Catholic. Now if you go Catholic, you'll be like, to the Protestants, you're evil, but for the Catholics, they'll be like, good. Then for Catholics, you'll say, you have to test yourself. For the Protestants, like, everybody can go to heaven. The test is always happening. For the Catholics, it's like, you have to give them money, insurances, and stuff. Alright, we'll move on. Now we go to Buddhism. Now, Buddhism is mostly Chinese and Indians, and it was created by an Indian, or I don't remember, Chinese person called Buddha. Eventually becoming the greatest person in the whole world, and becoming the top leader of religion, of Buddhism. And that's why, and hence the name Buddhism. Buddha, Buddhism. Going to Islam, well, this is not one of those like things. Also, they're pretty much, no, I'm not going to say. Now, Islam is one of the best countries in the world, but also, it's also a religion. And it's mostly in the Middle East, so you have to go to the Middle East to come into that. I'm kidding, you don't have to. Now we go talk to Jewishes, prosecuted in World War II, so I would not go back in time being a Jewish. And yeah, we'll stop there. There are more religions, but today, this is the end of our ad. Bye-bye. Okay, interesting ad. Well, I'm not religious at all. Even my mom used to be religious, like Catholic. My dad was also religious back then when he was Christian, actually. And it turns out now my parents are not religious at all. They actually think they never were religious, other than that time when they were kids. But other than that, yeah. Also, my mother's grandpa, my mother's side grandpa was Buddhism. Wow, interesting, sort of. But I'm never going to be religious. I mean, I'm not going to say why though, because there are a lot of reasons. But let's just move on. Now, to the most interesting part. Drum roll and blue screen, please! Ba-ba-bum! The secret of success! Killing! I'm kidding, not killing. Today, The last part of our system is the secret of success. Turns out there are loads of ways of getting secrets of success. Sometimes you're just bribery, and I just like straight, I'll kill you if you don't do this. And sometimes you just do it the legal way. Sometimes you do it the illegal way, which most people are willing to do because the illegal way is a lot easier, but sometimes the illegal way is also way harder. But that's for another episode. Some people might just mine for their successes. I mean, metaphorically, of course. Others would just do as much as they can and just get all the resources they can to get successful. Some just start really easy and eventually go to the killing sprees, metaphorically killing sprees, of other companies. And that's how most people actually got it. Most people do their companies like if it's a Rubik's puzzle, which I have not figured out how to create yet. How do you create this shape? And as I said of my Rubik's Cube analogy, there are loads of ways. Like, you have to be able to make all the sides with the same color as what's the problem of the Rubik's Cube to get everything intact and successful. And to me, a business is like a Rubik's Cube. You have to get everything exactly correct, which is really hard for a Rubik's Cube, so that you will be able to do something. Sometimes you can cheat by breaking it and then piecing it together to the right size, but that's illegal. And that's why you sometimes have to do the easier and maybe harder legal way. And that's the secret to success. I'll keep you with that. I'll end this video with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next episode. Shannon out and peace. Okay? Axe making time. Ba-ba-bam! I created an axe. Chopping tree. Diamond axe.